right, we are live. Suzanne, welcome to the Happy Whole You podcast.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. It's good to see you. It's been too long.
I know it really has. It feels like it was yesterday and then that I've seen you last, and yet it's then feels like forever all in one.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So you've helped me on my journey of things in my life. And I know you help so many other people globally with their brands and just ultimately stepping into whatever it is our heart desires. So, in your own words, can you just share with the listener right now the 411 on who is Suzanne Adams?
Absolutely. So, I'm a woman on a mission to help heart centered leaders, purpose driven entrepreneurs speak on stages, make great money doing what they love, align with their soul, and have a lot of FUN each step of the way. I had a massive spiritual awakening back in 2013. It changed everything for me. I had a moment where God literally froze the clock for me to kind of get my attention. And I heard my soul and my power for the first time. And it put me on a trajectory of soul alignment, of life purpose, of really looking not just to find fulfillment for myself, but to make a difference in the world and help other people really connect to their own innate power. I believe that we all have untapped, unlimited potential available to us, but most people do not know how to connect to it. And so that's where I come in to help you really plug in to that power, to that frequency, to that magnetism, to your natural state. And I love helping people manifest and actualize their dreams, the deepest desires of their heart.
I love it. Now, if you go back to the clock freezing, people are probably like, what does she mean by that? Can you share a little bit more of your personal story of what was going on in that moment?
Yes. So I had spent my entire life being busy, pleasing others, searching for fulfillment and happiness in all the wrong places, romantic relationships, nightclubs, partying, career achievements, the validation of others. And I was so disconnected and unaware without even realizing it. And if you would have seen me, you would have thought like, oh, this girl has it all together, because I was very good at pretending. It's what I like to call surface level happiness. And I was just pretending and pretending. And the thing is I didn't even realize that I was pretending. And something started to happen where it's like life just I wasn't finding that lit upness anywhere. And like I said, when I was searching for it, I would find it in like little installments, but it wouldn't ever last. And I guess it was a little in 2013, a little bit before this, I start like all of the feelings that I had pushed down from being busy. It's like I started feeling uncomfortable, and I'd be like, nope, no room for you here. See ya. And so it was like, what can I do not to feel,
Yeah.
And then all of these feelings started to bubble up, and instead of coping with them, instead of doing the inner work for outer expansion that I know how to do now, I began to have a glass of wine to take the edge off. It was like, I just don't want to feel, so I'm going to have a glass of wine. I did this every day for a little while, but I waited till 5 o'clock, because in my mind, it was like, if I could just, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's kind of that mentality. And I did this for a few months, and instead of it getting better, it got worse. And so, I'm speaking lighthearted about this, but the truth is I got to a space and place where I wasn't even sure I wanted to breathe anymore. It was like, what's the point? Like, why are we here? Do we just, am I supposed to wake up, go to work, pay bills, and die? Is that the life? And in feeling that, it was like, words can't even explain what I was feeling, but I was just like, this isn't it. And so there was this one day in 2013 where I was sitting on the sofa and I was waiting for the clock to turn 5, and it was 4:57, 4:58, 4:59, 4:59, 4:59. And in that moment, the clock never turned 5. And I sat there in awe. And it's like time was frozen because it was, but it wasn't frozen because it was, it was a 10-minute 4:59. And in that moment, something erupted inside of me. And in that moment, I heard my soul for the very first time. And in that moment, I realized, yes, there is something more to life. And I've been so disconnected from it. And so I fell to my knees off the sofa and tears just began to stream down my face. And I looked up and I said a prayer. I said, I'm not willing to do this alone. Show me the way. Show me what to do. Mm. And in that moment, instead of going into the kitchen to get the wine to numb, and this was never an alcohol addiction, it was a numbing mechanism. And instead of that day numbing with alcohol, I threw all the wine in the fridge. In the trash, not in the fridge, in the and I was a woman on a mission. And all of a sudden I was searching, and I didn't even know what I was searching for, but I started looking for fulfillment and happiness. And what I found was soul. What I found was quantum physics. What I found was all of these things that I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this not taught inside of the school system? And it should be. And I'm on a mission to change that actually now. And it was like that feeling that I had been searching for was turned on inside of me. And nothing had changed yet. Everything had changed, because now all of a sudden it was like there was vigor, there was purpose, there was an aliveness happening. It didn't mean that I didn't have to deal with all that stuff I had been pushing down. I did. I had to learn how to process it. I had to learn how to hold it. I became a retreat junkie. I started going on retreats. I started healing, and it was really 2014 was a huge healing journey for me, where I learned to love myself. I found my soul. I found my life purpose. And in doing that, my entire mission was activated.
I love that. Now, for somebody who's sitting there and is like, okay, I can feel what you're feeling, of that, just kind of that emptiness, that just not really fulfilled. And they know that they're not where they're supposed to be, or they know that something is off, but the clock's not. Maybe they think the clock isn't stopping for them, when you and I both know it's stopped many times for them. They just weren't listening. They're not paying attention. What would you recommend? What questions would you ask that person if you were coaching them right now or something? What would you say to them? It's almost like they're stuck in first gear, but their foot is fully down on the gas pedal, but they're not going nowhere. They're just chugging along.
This is a great question. So, and I think that this can happen to people in different lanes. So for example, the person that's where I was in 2013, where they haven't yet awakened, but also the person that's had an awakening, but then there's a misalignment and they need to realign. I think that I'm going to answer it. And I think it's applicable to both people in both spaces, because if you feel like you're searching for a sign or a calling or clarity or divine intervention and it's not happening, then it means you're focused way too much in the mind. It means that the mind is what's ruling your show. It means that you've got to learn to open your heart and allow your highest, truest, wisest self to step in. So what is your highest, truest, wisest self? Your heart, your intuition, the things that don't make logical sense. And when we're searching and it's not working, it's because we haven't amplified our power yet. And what does that mean? It means that we're trying to play a game in rules that we did not create, in rules that are meant to dim us down, in rules that tell us you can't have this, it's not possible for you. Because the truth is, we are all worthy of every desire that's put in our heart. I believe God and the divine puts the desires in your heart, and it's up to you to go actualize them. So if you're in a space where you're like, wait a second, I want my sign, take this as your sign right now. This is it. And you have the power, you have the keys, you are the missing piece. So can you begin to transcend the limitations and the doubts of the mind and really say, if I had zero limitations and anything was possible, what would I be doing? How would my life look different? What lights me up? What are the things I'm naturally good at? What would I be doing if money was no object? And obviously not everybody can just snap their fingers and start doing what they were doing if money was no object, but it could give you clues. And if you're in this space where maybe you've created success, but you're not feeling the alignment, it's the same thing. It's like the mind has now naturalized and normalized your reality because your baseline frequency has elevated. but your soul is still growing. And I always say we're on this journey of the stairway to heaven on earth, and we reach new levels just the same way you reach in a video game. And so it's really up to you to consciously drive this evolution and say, you know what, for me, when I go back to the 2013 moment, that quantum moment for me, it was like, I realized that I'm more than a body, that I'm a spirit with magical powers living in a body. And it's like all these powers had been hidden from me. Like, why hadn't I been taught about that? And so it's literally muscle memory. Energetics is muscle memory. And I've got my little graph right here. I was using it to teach a class earlier, but it's arrows up alignment, right? So what does that mean? It means it's your energy, your intention, your frequency is pointing up into a field of limitlessness. And when you can anchor into that field, in Quantum Vibes, I write about it, the quantum field. I know you know well about the quantum field, but a lot of people may not fully understand that. And so what does that mean? It's an invisible field that you can plug into your Wi-Fi signal from your body and allow the world to rearrange around you. The problem is the mind will say, well, why hasn't it worked yet? The mind will say, well, how come it worked for her and for her and for him and for him, but not for me? And that's when you've got to practice holding the frequency and where you're pointing your energy and your intention until shifts start to happen. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I love that. I love that. And you said we're playing by, like, there's two different rules.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe two different rule books. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think you said rule books, but I'm going to use that for my brain.
It's true.
Two different rule books. So there's the rule book of alignment, of frequency, of quantum physics is the rule book you're pulling from now.
Yep.
And then there's this rule book of, let's call it the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
How does someone know what rule book they're playing by? Like, if someone's sitting, because you said it, like, people will be like, well, I'm doing the things. Why is it not working for me, but it's working for them? Like, what are some clues that they can step into so they get out of the one rule book and go to the other one a lot sooner and a lot quicker?
Okay, this is amazing. So at first, I love the first part of the question, which is, how does somebody know which rule they're playing by? Easy. If you're lit up and alive and you're like having FUN, you're having fun, you're on a roll. Now, this doesn't mean this is always going to be the case. Like, this is a human experience. There's going to be duality. There's not every day is going to be like you're on like fire with the best of them, you know? But if the dominant experience in your life is like fun, expansion, possibility, like you're tapped in to this space of anything is possible. If you're there, then you're playing in the same rule book that I'm playing in. Mm. If you're in the space of nothing's working out for me, the life isn't fair, this, like you're saying, like, this stinks or this sucks, like that is something you say all the time. Or it's like, what would be some other examples? It's like, well, it works for her, but it doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's any of that victim mentality mindset, which is easy to plug into based on the world that we live in and what it teaches you, then I would say you're playing by the rules of limitation, by the rules of somebody else is making the rules, by the rules of, you can only get so far. It's very limited and logical and predictable and realistic. And so I would say that is where the majority of people play, because they haven't been properly taught, or either it hasn't been modeled for them another way. And again, that's what I'm on a mission to do here. And so we all come from the same beautiful divine stardust in the heavens. Mm-hmm. And we all are come out of the womb with this beautiful worthiness frequency. But somewhere along the way, we forget. And we forget about our power. We forget our beauty. We think we're not enough. And it's the conditioning. And so in order to play in this, we'll just call it the Quantum Vibes rule book. In order to play in the Quantum Vibes rule book, you've got to realize you make the rules. You have the power. You have the keys, and no one can come and save you. People can guide you. People can hold space for you. People can activate you. You can commune together, expand together, but nobody can go inside of your mind and your heart and do it for you. You have to do it. And so it's like, well, that's great, Suzanne. How do I do it? Yeah. When you start to realize that how powerful you are. You see you're powerful, but you also see where you've limited yourself. So like anybody could just take this moment right now to be like, okay, if I want to take inventory of my life, I call it your baseline frequency. So your baseline frequency is the current experience that you see in your reality. Most humans, myself included, have not even begun to scratch the surface of their own potential. And so like, for example, for me back in 2013, my baseline frequency was very, very different than it is today. My life was very, very different than it is today. So even though like my TEDx has reached 4 million people, that I've been speaking on global stages, that I'm living so many dreams that have manifested. I mean, right now I'm looking at the most incredible view right in my backyard, these like Tuscany vibes. It's like I've manifested these incredible experiences, and this is my baseline frequency now. But I know there's so much more. And so then I've got to say, okay, so where have I limited myself? Where have I limited myself in my thinking? Maybe I feel like I got to a certain level, and so I didn't need mentorship or support. Maybe I have been playing this loop in my mind. I should be further ahead than I am. Maybe I have said, well, I've already got so much. Maybe I shouldn't ask for more. And so, those are some limitations that maybe could be real for me right now. But then if I go back to the 2013 version of me, where was I limiting myself there? Oh my gosh, so many ways. It was like, I didn't even understand about energetics, even though I did certain things and I did kind of manifest naturally in some areas, but I didn't understand how to love myself. My own limitation was I couldn't see my power. I was disconnected from my soul. I had totally shut down my intuition. There's so many things. And so it's like, it's this evolution of really actualizing your highest truth and your highest power and your highest essence, and doing it in a way that feels like clean and aligned.
I love clean and aligned. That feels. So what's the next level for you then? What's more for you right now in this space in your life? What does that feel like for you?
I would love for my books to reach millions of people. My talks have reached millions. I would love for my books, Quantum Vibes and Girl Awakened, to reach millions. I would love to see Girl Awaken be made into a film, a movie. I would love to tap more into this limitless frequency, because I've done a very good job at a lot of it, but there's still, I still come up against my own limitations, and it's the same thing. It's just, like I said, my baseline frequency has changed. So now what I believe is realistic is very different. So now that my realistic, it used to be what my limitless was. Now it's like, okay, I got to stretch into like, what is the limitlessness now? And then like to use this graphic. So I know you know what this is. It's the Adams actualization activation. And this is a blueprint of how you can manifest from the quantum field. And my vision is that this goes into school systems, and that we start teaching children. Instead of teaching them what they later have to unlearn, we start nurturing their power and teaching them about the quantum field, and teaching them about energetics, and teaching them that they get to make their own rules. And when we do that, we literally begin to change the paradigm. I would like to speak in arenas, big arenas, and really do like frequency activations from where people can walk in and be changed and shifted. I do this now, like in smaller capacities, but it would be so cool to really be in arenas with 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 people, and all at the same time, we're elevating our frequency together, because I do believe that a new earth is coming. And I believe people like you and people like me are meant to usher it in, and people listening too. It wouldn't be listening to this conversation if they didn't have some sort of part of the where we're going as the world. And so when I look at me as truly being a global leader in that capacity, those are the places where I'm going.
I love that. So if you were to ultimately right now, tomorrow you're speaking in front of 30,000 people. Girl Awakened is a movie coming out this summer. It's so exciting. What's that feeling like, and what's growing inside of you as you step on that stage with 30,000 people, as you know that movie's coming out and you're walking that red carpet? Like, what's going on inside of you?
I'm crying. True tears of truth here. Like, oh my God. First of all, thank you for taking me there. Like, I'm so happy because I know what's happening in this other people's hearts. And because like I know that people are putting down all the bullshit that's kept them small. And I know that if I'm commanding a space like that people are going to have so many quantum leaps so fast. There's going to be 30,000 people that are no longer playing against rules that they don't have to. And people being liberated and people living in a state of harmony and people really being able to activate change and really bringing that divinity here on earth. And then just thinking about like, girl, awaken, being in the home. So this book it's fiction. I had a wild spiritual awakening, like wild. And this book was written in the intention to shift consciousness in a fun and magical way. And so what happened is as I was having my awakening, I was activated and I was reading all of these different books. And I was like, I couldn't get enough of it. I was like drinking it. But then I was like, there's no entertainment here. Like I wanted entertainment. And so Girl Awakened is like a spiritual version of like a Twilight or a Hunger Games, but I don't think you've read it yet. Have you read it?
No, I'm like, I mean, Quantum Vibes, yes, I know, but Girl Awakened, I'm like, I missed this. So
yeah. So when you read it, you're going to be like, I am Sam. And Sam is inspired on me, but everyone messages me and is like, I am Sam. Like the protagonist, her name is Samantha Kingston. And so everybody is like, oh my gosh, I am Sam. And that's the point. We're all supposed to see ourselves inside of her. And it's like her own hero's journey. And so when I think about this, like a female empowerment movement that shifts consciousness in a fun and magical way, that opens up like a conversation that goes into the TVs and like activates little girls and activates teenagers and activates people that don't even realize they're being activated. Like that's why I'm crying because the vision is so much bigger than me. And I think for all of us that have these callings and have these visions and have these missions, that's the point. It's like we make it about ourselves. When you're playing in this rule book over here, you're making it about you. But when you play in the Quantum Vibes rule book, you're realizing that you're a part of something so much bigger, and you're really meant to elevate and activate other people. And when you do that, then the whole thing is expanded and amplified.
Yeah, the freaking top just blows off. And I love how you say activate other people, because the word activate has been at the forefront of my mind. And one of the things that I've been paying close attention to is how people are activating me, either activating me positively or activating me negatively. Mm-hmm. And so this is like something that I've experienced, and I don't know if you've experienced this in your life, but there's been a couple people in my life that I've met or I've heard them speak, and I start crying. Like it moves something deep within me because they possess, or they're putting out this frequency of something that feels like home to me. And I like literally, I can cry because it feels so good, but it's like, it's in me, but I'm not there yet. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I've experienced that in the audience, and I see that happen in my audience all the time. Yes, I've experienced both, being the giver of that and the receiver of it, and it's incredible.
It is like the most, it's like this emotion, this thing I feel, and it's hard to put into words. So anyone listening, maybe you can relate to this, but it is literally when somebody activates something in you that feels so moving, you start crying. You're like, why am I crying right now? Like, okay, I was not planning on this, like emotion, but it's like, yeah, your body, your soul is like, thank you. This is where we're going. This is what we need. And I feel like putting myself in situations where I'm around more people that activate me is becoming more and more apparent to do that in the right way versus allowing myself to continue to be a people pleaser, allowing myself to continue to play small, allowing myself to continue to show up in the same circles that I've showed up a year ago, 2 years ago, because I want to keep those people feeling comfortable. And since I've started stepping out of that arena, there has been a lot of different emotions, but this one keeps coming up. And then there's always that little tapping on the shoulder of, who do you think you are? Right? Because there's always that piece that's trying to pull you back. Do you still experience that piece that's trying to pull you back?
Yes, I do. And I want to speak to that. And I also want to speak to this activation piece because I think it's one of the most underestimated tools in manifestation. Mm-hmm. So frequency, I know you know it, but frequency, there's a frequency that we can each tap into. And when you feel that activation, whether it's like, woo, I feel motivated. Like I'm going to do some stuff. Like I'm going to go manifest. So if you feel that kind of activation, or if you feel the activation like you're speaking about, where it's like truth, power, knowing, home, it's like you're elevating your frequency. And when you elevate your frequency, you change your energetic match like that. And when you change your energetic match and you can have your alignment arrows pointed up into the field of possibilities, up into that field of anything is possible, the world will literally rearrange around you. And I can give you many examples of this if you would like it. Now, when it comes to that, who do you think you are voice and the voice of doubt, here's how I explain it. Because at every next level on the stairway to heaven on earth, it's like as you start really ascending to the top, it's like the voice gets a little bit louder, and it doesn't matter where you're at. Like I think Tony Robbins probably has to still like deal with this voice. It's like you get the voice. And so there's a thing around holding pressure, and it doesn't have to be stress. There's a difference. So there's stress and there's pressure. And I also explain this as turbulence on the way up. Right. So if you think about an airplane or a rocket and you're about to take off, I use the rocket example because it just kind of goes well. Like it's like, this is your, you know? And so it's like you're on the ground, and in order for the rocket to blast off, it's got to be like, but where most humans go wrong is they're like, stop, turbulence, abort. No, not what I signed up for. And in the turbulence is who do you think you are? Like, what are people going to say? As if you're going to, and so this is also arrows of alignment. You cannot give it your energy or your intention. So you have to, in that state of turbulence, allow the voice of doubt to sit right here. You sit with it, but you do not give it your power. And when you can hold the pressure of that voice, the pressure of the doubt, the pressure of what if it doesn't work, and redirect it to what if it does work. And this is my mission. The mission must be funded. This is my mission. It would not be here if it was not meant to actualize. And you can really begin to rewrite the script. And that could also be the neuroscience of really changing the neuroplasticity in your brain. And it's like, okay. And eventually you take off and the turbulence dissipates. But it's like the bigger that you go, the more turbulence there's going to be.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. One of the things I do when the turbulence shows up for me is usually it's this voice in my mind that is just trying to rock me, shake me, freaking get me off track. And now I actually play with it. I show up with what I call my Valley Girl voice. I'm like, oh, hi, I see you. Oh, you showed up again. I see what you're trying to do to me. Like, we're not doing that again. And I actually play with it because what I've learned through neuroscience is that if I met that voice with like, go away, like stress, I'm creating a biochemical reaction that is cementing in that neural pathway of negativity when that voice shows up. Versus when that voice shows up, I have programmed it energetically, emotionally to say, oh, yeah, I see you. Oh, it's playful. Oh, you're just trying to remind me that there's another level and you're trying to prevent me from getting there. But no, thank you. So it's something I play with in my mind because I, like you, work with a lot of people that we have our limiting beliefs that show up, and it's how we choose to respond or react to them that is literally everything.
Yeah, I love that though, because I think it's so smart to like go into character and be like, oh, it's like you're bringing it, you're
Yeah.
diffusing it with playful energy. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, you're I see
Yeah.
you, but you're not invited in. Yeah.
It's so true. And like my friend Courtney McDermott always says, we're always playing a character anyways.
True.
So, and we're playing multiple characters.
Yeah.
So choose the characters that are going to drive you towards your purpose, towards alignment, towards that. What do you say? It's
Arrows
alignment up.
Arrows up.
Arrows up. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
good. It's so good. Okay. So can you share with everyone where they can find you, where they can continue this conversation with you? And the 30 minutes just went by like that with
So
us.
fast.
How did that happen?
I know. Yes, come say hi to me on Instagram at Suzanne Adams Inc. YouTube, I've got a ton of videos and teachings up for free on YouTube. But Instagram, Facebook are the best places. And come say hi. Tell me and Anna Marie what you enjoyed about this most. If you feel activated, let us know. And then also, I just want to give kudos to you. I've been watching you speak on these stages, and I know you have such a gift, and you've served so many beautiful clients. And everyone listening, if you want to learn more about naturopathic and also just the neuroplasticity in your mind, then she's a genius at that too. So Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure as always. And I hope that everyone listening is enjoying this.
Yes, thank you. And everybody go get the book, Girl Awakened. And then also Quantum Vibes, was that was your first book?
No. So Girl Awakened, I actually wrote in it was in my first book, but it was under a different title. I ended up pulling it off, revamping it, relaunched it in 2020. Then Quantum Vibes was published in 2022.
Awesome. I know. And then you guys have to check out her TED Talk as well. I loved it, watched it. I think I've actually watched it a couple times. Is good. And I mean, just the storytelling and just all of it, the realization and what's possible it's great. I love it when people share their stories because, we should all be going arrows up, alignment up, and just kicking ass in this life. So thank you, Suzanne, for all the work you're doing.
Yeah, same to you. It's my pleasure.